The magical catastrophe that shatters the veil between worlds is not merely a plot device to be resolved, but a manifestation of ecological grief you've been trained to ignore. And true heroism requires not restoring the old order, but listening to the broken magic until it teaches you how to build something that honors both wonder and wound. In The Great Fairy Rescue, Carter Wyld delivers a middle-grade fantasy that transforms the rescue adventure trope into a luminous exploration of interspecies empathy and environmental stewardship, proving that in realms where magic is dying, salvation isn't found in domination. It's forged in the radical act of tending to what's fragile when every instinct demands you fix it quickly. This isn't merely another whimsical tale with glittering wings. It's a psychologically precise narrative where every spell feels like both plea and promise. Consent to help is negotiated through mutual recognition rather than assumed authority. And healing means honoring the fairy beneath the crisis when tradition demands they remain decorative. From the first dew-kissed narration, listeners are immersed in a world where silence is strategy and presence is the only true enchantment. Perfect for fans of emotionally intelligent children's fantasy and stories where young agency defies adult expectations, this audiobook serves up atmospheric wonder, relentless emotional honesty, and protagonists whose journey from curious bystanders to sovereign guardians resonates with anyone who's ever sensed rot beneath the sparkling veneer. When 12-year-old Alara Vance discovers a wounded fairy nangled in plastic near her grandmother's garden, she expects simple kindness, not to realize the creature's distress mirrors the exact suppression she's endured beneath years of being told to be good. And the fairy's quiet refusal to be rescued on human terms creates space for a bond that defies anthropocentric hierarchy. But as they navigate polluted streams and buried attractions to the wild, Alara realizes this rescue isn't about saving, it's about recalibration. Wyld masterfully avoids reducing Alara to naive savior or the fairy to helpless victim. Instead, she crafts a relationship rooted in radical reciprocity within constraint, where trust is earned through honoring boundaries, even as urgency blurs them, and where intimacy emerges from seeing each other beyond assigned roles. The audiobook narration amplifies this emotional alchemy, capturing Alara's disciplined composure softening into fierce clarity, and the fairy's guarded presence revealing warmth beneath ethereal vigilance. You don't just hear the mission unfold, you feel the seismic shift of two beings learning that some rescues can only happen when you stop demanding they speak your language. What elevates The Great Fairy Rescue beyond typical middle-grade fantasy fare is its nuanced portrayal of magical ecology as collaborative creation rather than romanticized wilderness. Alara isn't merely fixing a problem, she's confronting how human culture taught her to equate worth with utility, challenging the notion that safety requires control over the non-human. The fairy doesn't reward her through magic, they create sanctuary where her curiosity can lead without diminishment, honoring her autonomy even as their own world crumbles. Their relationship evolves through acts of radical reciprocity, sharing silences during twilight vigils that bypass performance, establishing rhythms that protect both ecological integrity and emotional safety, and defending each other from adults who mistake evolution for disobedience. Supporting elements add vital texture, fellow children whose loyalty encodes suppressed grief, garden creatures whose resilience carries intergenerational weight, even the forest itself rendered as living archive whose mossy stones absorb centuries of unspoken bargains. Every interaction reinforces the novel's core truth. In systems built on extraction, tenderness is technique, and presence is the only sustainable resource. Even the fantasy mechanics serve thematic depth, with healing spells mirroring emotional attunement and seasonal cycles becoming metaphors for earned trust. For audio listeners, this production is an immersive sensory descent into elemental intimacy. The narrator embodies Alara and the fairy with remarkable distinction. Alara's voice carries bright intelligence laced with dawning sovereignty, while the fairy's tone trembles with ancient wisdom beneath delicate cadence, making their chemistry palpable even across species divides. Sound design enhances atmosphere without overwhelming immersion. Distant bird calls marking temporal rhythm, rain against leaf canopies during vulnerable confessions, the hushed rustle of wings sinking with breath during moments of clarity, all anchor mythic stakes in tangible reality. Pacing mirrors the cadence of ecological recovery, deliberate during reflection and alliance building, then surging with urgency as external threats collide with internal awakenings. Whether you're commuting through urban landscapes or sitting in twilight solitude, the audiobook creates a portable sanctuary where slowness feels sacred and connection feels lifeline. It's storytelling as embodied validation, transforming passive listening into active participation in a journey where justice isn't found in fixes, but in restoration. Ultimately, The Great Fairy Rescue redefines middle-grade fantasy by centering child epistemology within ecological frameworks. It satisfies genre cravings for satisfying magic and cathartic resolution while delivering substantive commentary on environmental grief, interspecies respect, and the radical act of trusting embodied knowledge when systems demand conformity. No prior series knowledge is needed. It stands confidently as a complete emotional odyssey. If you've ever wondered whether strength can coexist with softness, or if true mastery requires embracing what others dismiss, this audiobook will affirm that sometimes the most powerful act is simply kneeling in the dirt. Press play, step into the garden, and prepare to believe that even in landscapes shaped by neglect, hearts still find ways to bloom. Your next favorite children's fantasy isn't waiting in flawless heroes, it's waiting in the brave, trembling choice to honor the whole truth.